Mr. Bowman, it's Chris Waller.
How are you, Chris?
Good. Great for us and, of course, the horse to just have a pre-race hit-out. And as we've told everybody, we want to try and simulate race conditions without blowing her apart or her spectators. But I guess, what do you expect to see from it?
Yeah, look, hopefully they go a nice pace in front and we can settle midfield and see her do what she does best the last 200 metres.
And obviously in the barriers we'll make sure that she's nice and safe, but it's a good way to simulate the race pressure, what she'll see. So hopefully she jumps cleanly and can finish off strong.
Well, we saw what happened first up last prep, so if we can get some of that nervous energy through her and through you, then we'll be ready to go in 2 weeks.
That's right.
All right, Chris, is that the normal chat? Is that the normal chat that goes on before?
Pretty normal. Obviously, there's not much you can say about Winx. The beauty of her is she does it herself, and Hugh keeps her out of trouble, and most importantly, yeah, she gets the job done. So pre-race we try and talk about other things and just keep the pressure away, because it's quite a different environment to be in when all the eyes are on you and you're expected to win and things like that.
Starting to feel a bit like a race.
Getting a few people here, which is good.
How are your nerves?
Oh, they're okay. They'll be worse in 2 weeks' time. But likewise, the first run of the preparation is always the hardest. You don't know how they've come back. She's 6 months older, and obviously getting a little bit older in her career. So, yeah, today's an important stepping stone towards 2 weeks' time.
How are we expecting this trial to set up?
I think, Libran and Who Shot the Barman, they've drawn the inside two barriers. I've told those jockeys to make them bounce out. We don't want it just to be dawdling from the gates. I then expect McCreary and McIntosh to come forward and take over the lead, and I'd say Winx will just slot in wherever she can, as will Unforgotten. I'd say there'll be a bit of tempo put into the race at the 600 and then the last 400 again, and then just what I've told all the riders to make sure they go through their gears and give them solid hit-outs.
Let's go at the front. Let's go out and see what's about to happen. Debbie Capitas, how are you feeling? A bit nervous?
Not really. It's a trial today, so the nerves don't really build that strong. You just wanted to have a good, safe run. There's nerves that things will go wrong, but Winx is Winx, and we're here and interested to watch her run.
More anticipation than anything else.
Most definitely, because it's always, we've seen the two trials, and the first trial was a very soft trial. Second trial, she put a little bit more in there, and today will be much more of a race, in race circumstances. So wait and see what she does.
Okay, let's go to Lizzie Jolce out the front. You're getting your first view of Winx this time in. What are you seeing?
Well, this is actually my third view of her this campaign. She's had a couple of trials. I've seen her at both of those trials, and she's certainly at her peak fitness now. This trial's really going to condition her and just top her off, ready for that first up mile. But as I've said, at both of her trials, the attitude is what is the difference in her. She's completely relaxed. She's standing here and taking it all in. And in comparison to last preparation, where she was very head up at her first start and really on the go, today she's beautiful and switched off, and that's what you want to see at a mare at this time in her career.
Okay, thank you, Lizzie. We're just walking out. Chris Waller, normally, now Chris, just tell us where you normally watch her from on race days. You go away and watch it on your own?
Yeah, I'm normally bunkered up in just a little secluded room on my own. Normally a couple of close staff members stay there and watch the race with me, and it's a good time to just be on your own and just sort of just take your breath before it all unfolds.
Okay, Hugh Bowman, can you hear us?
I can hear you, Greg. Yep.
All right, your trainer's got some final words for you.
Hi, Hughie. She looks pretty relaxed going to the barriers.
Yeah, she is. She's just coming around here nicely. You can hear her just breathing away there consistently. I'm out here at some nice fresh ground, and in the trial I'll probably look to come down about 5 or 6 off the fence in the straight where it looks to be the freshest ground to me.
That's all we need. We want the safest place for her, as we do in each of her runs. So yeah, if you can find the best part of the track from a safety perspective, that's great.
Yeah, no, I'm happy with her, and she's very relaxed, and I'll give her a good workout today and be all set for 2 weeks' time.
Do you think she can tell it's race day or trial day?
I just can't hear you there. The wind's pretty strong.
Do you think she can tell it's trial day or race day?
Ooh, girl. Ooh.
Horse talk.
She's seen the barriers and she's certainly lit up. She knows she's about to be asked to go.
Are you guys happy with the way she's been behaving in the I see she's drawn the outside in the 2 barrier trials she's been in. So are you comfortable with her attitude in the barriers in the 2 trials back, Hugh?
I certainly am, Ron. Yeah, last prep she was very edgy. Her second trial she was particularly agitated and replicated that in her first race. This time she's been very relaxed, both her trials, and she's a bit more relaxed at home too, so I think it's filtering through.
Do you think she can tell the difference between trial and race day today?
I don't know. We'll wait and see. I think it's certainly more like a race for her, but horses are sensitive animals. We must remember that, and I'm sure she'd feel the energy coming through my body on race day, and I must admit I'm not quite feeling the same today as I would if it was race day, but I'm more relaxed, so that might just help her be more relaxed today too. But I'd be expecting to see her put more effort into today's trial than what we would the standard barrier trial that we're accustomed to seeing her running in, where she seems to go at about 80%. I think we'll get a lot more effort today. I
think she'll lift if she looms up and the crowd gives a cheer. I think she listens to the crowd more than anything.
Well, she's a very intelligent individual, and like I said, we might just trick her into thinking it's a race here today.
Any final words, Chris Waller, because I think Hughie's going to take the gear off now?
No, I think it's pretty important just to leave it to Hugh now and get things back to normal, because it is a serious piece of work, and obviously there's a lot of risks involved, so we'll leave it to Hughie now.
She doesn't win trials. She has won a trial, but she doesn't win trials normally. But today you want to see her win.
Yeah, ideally it's only 2 weeks out from a big race, and she doesn't need to have a real tough run, but I think just from the crowd perspective, and it just helps everybody walk away saying, gee, Winx is only 2 weeks away and we can't wait to be back here in 2 weeks' time.
And this other filly over there behind the gates, Unforgotten, who trials today, she is second favourite for the Oaks. Also nominated for the Queen of the Turf and the Doncaster. What do you think of Unforgotten?
Yeah, well, her last 3 wins have all been very good. She's had plenty of wraps on her from those. Her sectional times have all been good. She's come back a bit stronger. So, yeah, she's a filly with a very bright future.
And you'd like to see her do something today? This is her, third trial?
Yeah, she'll be running first up in the Surround in 2 weeks' time. So it's a Group 1 1400. And each of the horses, I've explained to the owners and the riders, they're here for their own purpose as well, not just to support Winx. They've got some big targets ahead, and you might see horses racing over 2 miles or 1,300 metres at their next start. It's an important piece of work for all of them.
OK, so Hughie's taken off that equipment. Due to safety concerns, he can't wear the microphone and headset or the earpiece. So we've lost contact with Hugh Bowman now, and he's in race gear. He's on holidays, Chris. We shouldn't forget that. We've called him back from a break.
Yeah, well, I won't tell you what I'll tell you about his holiday. He can get back to work pretty quick.
She's about to walk up. This is no problem, is it, right now?
No problem here. Just gets a little bit fractious in the barriers, and for a trainer watching or a punter putting their money on, you don't want to see them too edgy, and I'll often look away and just put my head up just as they're about to jump, so as I'm doing now. So yeah, obviously she's a highly strung horse, as they all are, and we can't afford any risks.
Let's hear Darren's call. Here's the trial. Yeah, we'll give you all the sections in just a moment. She has run 1:10.3, Chris, for the 1,200 metres. They weren't loafing.
No, it looked a pretty leisurely stroll to my eye, but I guess a small field, it does look a little bit different. But I thought McCreary might have put a bit more pressure on McIntosh early watching the trial, but running those times, I guess I can see why Jason sat back on him. So, yeah, it was a good gallop, and Hughie had to ask her at the 500 metres just to make sure that she was in tune, which is what we wanted to see. As you can see, race conditions and trials, it's very hard to simulate, but I think they've done a pretty good attempt of it there.
Well, today was the day she was going to run in the Apollo, so you've got to race into her. Yes. Going into the Chipping Norton.
So the key now is not to overtrain her in between. We've got to remember that she's had a pretty solid trial today, simulating a race, so we won't be panicking over the next 2 weeks. I know where she's in or where she's now. I'll have a talk to Hugh soon, see how she is when she comes back in terms of how much she's blowing and how long it takes her to cool off after the race. So a lot of things to consider, but I think in 2 weeks' time we'll have a horse ready to run a solid mile race, and as the public expect, they expect her to win each and every time she races.
Talk about her recovery when she gets back to the stables, even after she's had a tough run.
Normally pretty good, and a good way of finding that out is how she leaves, or how much food she leaves after a race. So a good sign is a clean feed bin. If they're going home eating up after a race, then it's a big help to say that they've come through the run or the trial very well.
Here comes Hughie coming back to the crowd. This is the most important part for you, to get this feedback from your jockey who knows her so well. It's a bit like Fred and Ginger, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Not a lot of words get said, but just body language, you can tell. I can see the horse is very happy there. She's having a good look around. She's not stressed at all, and she's enjoyed the day out. So that's a very positive sign. And then obviously to get the word from Hugh that she's spot on. I don't know if you'll give us a little she's apple sign, but we might get something out of him.
All right.
Okay, we're gone.
We're going to hear from Hughie in just a moment. Chris, come on over and have a chat to the jockey. We're going to hear from Hughie and Chris as they discuss Winx's big moment back towards this preparation. To backtrack, she was due to race today in the Apollo Stakes, but Hugh Bowman was suspended, so the decision was made to wait till the Chipping Norton, but an important gallop here today has seen her, what we assume is on target for a Chipping Norton. Here's Hughie now. I'll hand him over the mic and you can have a chat to him, Chris.
How was that, Hugh?
I think it was just how it looked. I mean, she was very well behaved in the barriers, which is really very encouraging, but I was confident that would be the case, and I knew I was going to get a good position today. I knew no one was going to hold me out, and that was comforting. But at the 600, when the pace picked up, she was left a little flat-footed, and understandably so, over 1,200 metres, but we could see from the 300 on, she was back to herself, and that competitive spirit really burnt the last 200.
I saw at the 500 metre mark, you gave her a slap on the shoulder. She was straight into the bridle then.
Yeah, she was. She responded quickly, and she knows what her job is, and I know, she may have been tricked into thinking it was a race, but she certainly responded as if it was a race day and not like she would in a trial.
Oh, that's excellent. They've run 110, so it wasn't just a leisurely stroll. It was a good, solid workout.
Yes, McIntosh set a nice pace, which had everybody comfortable, and, she sprinted home like we know she can. And it was a good test. It should get her where you want her for 2 weeks' time.
Big thing now is, can I get you where I need you in 2 weeks' time?
Well, we won't judge that today.
How did you pull up?
No, I'm well, I'm good. And I'm looking forward to next weekend when I can resume riding for real.
And can we weigh you in now to make sure that you're not too heavy?
If you want to, but at your own cause.
Thanks very much.
Good on you, Hugh. You sure you don't want to jump on the scales? How are you? How is you?
I'll be about 59 like this, I think.
You reckon? How... Just go back to a demeanour in the barriers, Hugh, today.
Yeah, well, I think it was there for everyone to see, and obviously everyone watches her closely, and I've said for a long time it's the only time that I'm nervous when I'm on her, is when I'm in the barriers, and I've actually taken a lot of comfort from her 2 trials and her behaviour in the barriers in her 2 trials this prep, and she replicated that this afternoon. You saw how quiet she was, and Ryan, who helps me in the barriers, is very calm too, and I think that calmness that he gives, she certainly responds nicely. And I mean, even if she's standing a little skew-if, that's fine as long as she's happy.
Chris, what happens now between now and the Chipping Norton on March 3?
She'll have the next few days off, and then we'll just gradually build her workload up again. About 7 days, so next Saturday she'll have a reasonable gallop, just depending on how heavy she is, how she's eating, and how we think what we think she needs to do between the race and today and the race. So probably 2 sharp pieces of work over shorter distances than today, and Hugh will be on both of those workouts, and he'll give me some feedback as to how she's recovering, but she's exactly where she needs to be, so we don't need to panic.
A bit different today. How did you enjoy the experience of bringing Winx to the crowd a little bit closer?
Well, it's more relaxing for me, that's for sure.
Nothing at stake.
But no, it was lovely. It's lovely to see her back, and like I say, 2 weeks' time we can really see her for real. But what excited me the most was when I asked her to pick up into the bridle and respond, she did. And when she was nice and balanced and I asked her to stretch to the winning post, she did exactly that, and I felt that engine burn, something which I really don't feel in normal trials, because she tends to keep a little bit under the tank. So it was lovely to see her exercise those competitive juices this afternoon, and it'll put her in good shape for when she does come to race.
Right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Hugh Bowman.
Whoa. Right up. Hang on. Yep. All right.